Hey dudes and dudettes, Mr. Theorist here, and welcome back to another Doctor Who review. I'm here again with Stacey.
Hello.
And we'll be covering episode 8. So I know it's 8 because your mum said there's been 8 episodes. What was the episode called?
Witchfinder, I think.
Witchfinder, that's it. Episode 8 of season 11. We don't care if it's not season 11, I'm calling it season 11 now because I've done it all the way through this. Called Witchfinder. If you've watched these videos before, you know how we do it. I give you a summary of the plot, and then ask Stacey how she felt about the episode, and then give you how I felt about the episode, and then we bounce back and forth about things that maybe one of us liked it, one didn't, and maybe how we felt each character did in the episode itself. And at the very end, we give it a rating out of 10 because why not? So, let's do this. We'll start with the summary of the plot. Summary of the plot. The Doctor and company, which is Graham, Yaz and Ryan, I remember their names now, and the Doctor of course, turn up in early, you're the history buff, what century is this?
17th century.
17th century, when the witch trials were happening in England. Yay, a fun time in history. And we find out we're in Yorkshire?
Kendal, it's up north. Lancashire, I think.
Lancashire, that was it. They said Lancashire, yeah. Near Lancashire. And we find out that they're like, oh, this is really nice. It's kind of like the little village is having a party. And then all of a sudden, this man starts ringing a bell and saying, the mistress wants everyone to meet by the lake. And that's how we get introduced to the fact that they're at a period when the witch trials is happening. Because a poor old lady is tied to a tree and she's about to be dunked into the water. Yay. The Doctor does hint at and tells the group that, look, no matter how horrible history gets, we cannot interfere with history. And Yaz is like, what? Even if it's really bad? She's like, can't. But guess what? The Doctor doesn't care herself. And when the old woman gets dunked and the old woman's granddaughter is like begging someone to please help her grandma, the Doctor saves the day, because why not? And decides to take it upon herself to try and stop these villagers from basically killing women for being witches. Graham also hints at the fact that he knows his history, and he's been to this part of the country, and he doesn't ever remember everyone speaking about a town where this big witch massacre happened, which is a kind of a hint for where things go. The Doctor then pulls out her magic psychic paper, and declares that she is a witchfinder, hence the name of the title, and her and a group are here to make sure that they protect the women from falsely being accused of witches. The episode plods along, and we soon find out that there is something weird in the village, this weird mud thing. The Doctor's trying to figure out what it is. At first she can't detect anything, she's just like, it's just normal mud. But then we find out that all the women that were killed for being witches and were buried in this certain spot are all starting to be reanimated by this weird mud goo thing. And they've got a vendetta against the lady of the village who's killing everyone for being witches. The episode plods along, we meet King James I, who's flamboyant as anything, and I learned that, yes, that's just who King James was, and probably more than likely gay. Told you guys, I told you before, I'm awful at history. Like, I was like, whoa, really? And Stacey's like, yeah, okay, fair enough, I didn't know this. And he is very flamboyant and decides that he will fight the devil. He will stop Lucifer from inhabiting this village, by even if it means killing the whole village. Because he is an awesome witch hunter, and yeah, it doesn't help matters, because the Doctor tries to help matters, finds the animated corpses of the witches. The king decides that it's her fault that these things exist, and decides to declare that she's a witch. There's a really nice heart-to-heart where the Doctor basically tells him about, well, you're doing this because you feel there's a darkness in you and you can't face it, and you feel your mum abandoned you, and you take it out on these witches. And for a second you think he's think he's going to turn and accept her, and because she talks about, I can show you everything, like everything you want to know about the world, I can show you. But no, he decides he's still going to dunk her. And when he does, she manages to escape. But this is when we find out why the mud people are after the lady of the village. Because actually the lady of the village has been possessed this whole time by the mud monsters, and they're actually just her soldiers. And the whole plan was to get the king to this witch hunting location and possess him with their mud king, where they're not actually mud monsters, they're like, it's their most primitive form, and they're going to take over the world. Doctor saves the day by finding out that the tree that was cut down by the lady of the house actually was imprisoning all these things. That's why they've not come out before this point. And she figures out that it's actually it's not a real tree, it's cool technology that's been eroded away after millennia of being there as like a lock to stop these aliens. They use bits of the tree to burn bits of the tree to kind of like help defeat the monsters. They manage to get them all back into the ground. They put the Doctor's something weird, you don't quite understand what she does, but she uses a sonic on a part of the tree, blocks the tree up, stopping all the aliens, bar the lady who's full on possessed, demonic alien face. And she's like, I will not return to the tree. And King James just goes, alright then, burns her, and she blows up. And the Doctor's like, no, I killed the witch. And she's like, alright, I'm fine. And she ignores him for the next 2 minutes, the remainder of the episode. And King James is like, she's still not talking to me, what is happening? And then he gets to see the TARDIS fade away, and that's the end of the episode. It's good, but I'll give you my proper opinion after we ask Stace. What did you think?
I think it was a good episode. It was interesting, especially with the Doctor being a woman and being accused of being a witch. That was very good, because the fact she said herself, oh, if I was a man, I could just get on and do this, but now they're just accusing me. And that's very true. It was so easy in that time for an intelligent woman to be accused of being a witch, especially if she talked too much or went against the norm. So that was good. I like that. And the portrayal of James I was interesting, with him flirting with Ryan, and yes, in real life he was really interested in demonology and witch hunting, so that wasn't a thing made up at all. But Doctor Who doesn't make up things like that. They do historically accurate, apart from the alien bits, obviously.
Because we all know that Queen Victoria met a werewolf and actually found it Torchwood. Doctor Who don't make nothing up, does it?
It does make things up. I was just saying the historical characters are true to themselves, apart from encountering aliens and werewolves and vampires.
Sorry, this is really like, Doctor Who doesn't make things up. They stick to the historical facts. Yes, because Queen Victoria met space werewolves. Yes.
And also the Pendle witch trials were a thing. Obviously, the particular events that happened in the episode didn't happen, but there were witch trials in Pendle, which is in Lancashire, and people did die. So that was good, the fact they did actually base it in a place that there were witch trials in England. So, yeah, it was good. I didn't like it as much as last episode.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah, I'm pretty much on par with you there. They definitely got, I will have to say, they've got the formula down now, which is the Doctor turns up, the Doctor realises there's an issue, and the Doctor divides her team up to go and investigate. That seems to be the formula for this version of Doctor Who, is she'll turn up and go, there's an issue here, Ryan, you and Jans go that way, Graham and me will go that way, or they'll divide slightly differently, and we'll meet back up later when the alien has revealed itself. And it's good. It's a good solid way of structuring. It means you don't sideline too many characters, which is good. The Rosa one was the one where I felt they sidelined, but they seem to like they don't want to be doing that anymore. I'm with Stacey. I thought it was good. It wasn't as good as last week's. Last week's one was like top notch. This was. I finished when we finished watching the episode and we came upstairs to do it. I was just like, all right, I'm ready to do this. I don't really have much of an opinion, but not in a bad way. It's not like I'm going, it was all right. It was good. Character was good. James was good. King James was good. The lady of the house was good. The granddaughter, she was really sweet. The doctor, Jodie Whittaker, is solid, and I'm really liking her interpretation of the doctor. Ryan, I love his character. I love Yaz's character, because Yaz is definitely the heart of the team, and she will always go, hey, they're in distress. I'm going to go help them out with their feelings, which is nice. And Graham's always there to just give you random knowledge. Like, it didn't matter in the end too much that this small village was never talked about in the witch hunts. But he knew this. It's just something that Graham knew. It's like, I don't really remember there being witch hunts in a specific little village. Okay, so there's going to be a big, massive event that's going to stop it. Nah, it's just because everything kind of went back to normal. This was another case of probably the doctor was always there. There's a fine line in Who these days where you're not quite sure if the doctor was always meant to be there or whether she's managed to keep things just on track enough where it doesn't matter that she was there.
She does seem to not care as much about interfering with history as previous doctors do. So that's
but not in the way that Tennant almost did it at one point. If you remember the Waters of Mars episode, where he just went, I don't care, and saved that woman, but then Time was like, no, she still has to die. And I think that's when Who was dark at that point. But yeah, I think Jodie Whittaker, I don't know, yeah, because at times she's like, we can't interfere, but then she'll interfere, but then the interference doesn't seem to be, like, maybe they're doing it where it's like the doctor is so smart that she understands how much she could interfere without causing a ripple effect in time.
Then again, the doctor used to interfere if it was a crying child, but she seems to interfere
at any time.
Yeah.
She just doesn't care. She's like, she has the heart of like the purest of hearts, and she's just like, oh, that person's in trouble. I don't care about history. I'm just saving that person. So yeah, it was a good, solid filler episode.
These assistants are a lot stronger, I find. They're not getting themselves into trouble all the time.
No, they are a team. This is one thing that I think was really quite good, is that they are a team. Any other points that I feel I picked up on? Yeah, they are. I don't know whether the fact that, you know, when she said the line where she was like, oh, if I was a man I'd be able to get on with this more. I wonder if that's kind of a meta commentary on how the fans felt when she was declared as a woman, and they were like, oh, it's never gonna be as good, and then she just has to state like, oh, I have to try even harder now, and people don't take me as seriously because I'm a girl. And I felt like, is that the writers kind of going,
It's not like that, because in that time period it was harder to be a woman, and if you did suddenly change gender when we're put into a sexist period of time, you would feel it.
But if you know all of this season of Who, there has been, each episode has very deliberately had subject matters that have been topical. Maybe this episode was deliberately set in this time period because of that topical subject of the Doctor.
Yeah, I've heard people comment saying, oh, it's easy for men to talk about time travel, but if a woman time travelled, if they came up with a futuristic invention, they would just be burnt as a witch. I've heard that.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to go on like, oh, if a man explains time travel, it's fine, but if a woman explains time travel, she can't do it. And I was going to be like, ooh.
If a man went back in time thinking, ooh, I could make myself witch by inventing something years ahead of time, but if a woman did it, then not too far back.
Yeah, the witch trials were a pure example. Like, women were good, there was women at the time that were good at medicine and being nurses and doctors, and no, women can't be intelligent. Let's burn them for being smart. So yeah, good, solid episode. Not nearly as good as the last one. So, out of 10, what will you give this episode, Stace?
I'm not sure, either 6.5 or 7.
Ooh. What do you say? We said the last one was about a 9, didn't we? So the last
Okay,
one
I'll
was
say
9.
7.
Yeah, I was going to go for a solid 7. Rosa was definitely an 8. I know I keep like comparing this to Rosa, but Rosa to me was like one of the peaky moments of this season so far. So yeah, it didn't make me go ugh, like the alien on the spaceship did. So yeah, 7 out of 10. Why not? A good solid 7 out of 10. And that's what we guys felt about this episode. If you've enjoyed this video, guys, please hit that like button. Leave a comment. Tell me, guys, out of these 8 episodes, which one is your favourite so far? And what do you think of Jodie Whittaker? I think she's really growing on me as a doctor. I'm really enjoying her now. And there is definitely like really quirky parts of her that she's developing into her own character. Yay, it's always a good sign. Yeah, so if this isn't your favourite episode, or if it is, please tell me why in the comments below. And as always, guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. And if you haven't already subscribed, bring a friend along and have them subscribe as well. Until next video, guys, we will see you later. Bye!
Bye!